Today we're going to talk about something a little corny. Did you know that growing prairie strips next to cornfields actually make yields more effective? Today we're going to dive into the topic of ecosystem services and how they're used for effective farming practices. Like finding the extra fry at the bottom of a bag, ecosystem services are the hidden treasures that nature provides for us. Ecosystem services usually refers to the dollar amount that the ecosystem provides for people in terms of dollar amount. And the categories of these services include provisioning, which is the direct usage of the ecosystem services, such as water, food, materials, etc. Regulating, which is the maintenance of stable ecosystem processes. Examples include, the resilience to change and disease. And cultural services, an area that fosters creativity and cultural development and also used for recreation. And supporting, which are basal services, and they support other provisions of other services, including nutrient recycling and pollinators. And today we're going to focus on carbon sequestration, and this is when the plant absorbs the carbon in the atmosphere in their roots for photosynthesis. This is a classic example of an ecosystem service. The carbon in question does it for free, unlike most subscription services. To dive deep into the real-world examples, farmers in the Midwest, we're talking Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, are planting little strips of prairie patches right alongside their crops. And I know what you're thinking, why not just grow corn there if the goal is to grow the most amount of corn? Well, it turns out that prairie strips are like sharpening the axe before you cut down the tree. It actually makes the land much more efficient. And studies from Iowa State and the University of Nebraska show that adding prairie strips to just 10% of the fields can reduce sediment movement by 95%, phosphorus loss by 90%, and nitrogen loss by 85%. Basically, prairie strips are like the little superheroes of the farming world. No cape needed, just a little prairie action. Now, let's talk money. Managing prairie strips costs about $325 per acre. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, right? But in comparison, 1 acre of corn in Iowa costs about $825 to $1,025 to manage. And prairie strips are kind of sounding like a lot of a bargain. And most of the cornfields that cost this much aren't profitable enough to actually justify the crone going there. But once these prairie strips were added, the fields began to thrive and each acre became much more profitable. So prairie strips, the cheaper alternative, are actually the secret heroes that save these fields. And this study also shows that the more biodiversity equals higher productivity. And similar to a plain cheese pizza, plain mozzarella is just fine, but a little pepperoni, mushrooms, and peppers, things get a lot better. But prairie strips also bring in pollinators, birds, and ensure the healthy soil so that crops get the boost they need to thrive. And nature isn't just something that we protect, it's something that we can work to and improve through agricultural practices as shown by the prairie strips. So the next time you're enjoying the peanut butter in a PBJ or the ketchup on your hot dog, just remember that the corn used in these foods might have grown next to a prairie strip. So next time you're eating, you can enjoy your meal with a little side of biodiversity.